The immune system Jolly's from Yo, Dominic, it's about Father Box. Whenever I'm in town and I'm feeling down, I head to Jolly's Pharmacy, then boost me up real quick. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Oh, and if they say convenience make a big difference, then you can trust me. I know just where you should be. That is JP Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga. You could be shopping and having fun. Shop if you're not a if you're social. It's to everyone. What a happy place. Oh, JP Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga. You could be shopping and having fun. Shop if you're to everyone. What a happy place. Oh, what a happy place. But just click some more any item and you automatically qualify for discounts. Check us out at the Mega Store in Fongole where there's lots of parking on Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. JP Mega, the best family shopping experience. This pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your host, Trudy Kristen, and co-host pharmacist Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your host, Trudy Kristen, and co-host pharmacist Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Health Vibes. This is Trudy Christian, and I am joined this morning by
Jacinta. Good morning.
Good morning, Jacinta. Good morning to our listeners, our loyal listeners, our first-time listeners of Health Vibes. Big welcome to you this morning as you join us on the health program that is always guaranteed to have some vibes and something interesting for you to digest. We are at another Wednesday in the month of August, approaching the peak of the hurricane season. It is extremely hot. As a matter of fact, there is the weather advisory that the heat levels are high, so you need to take precaution, especially if you're outdoors doing anything today. Make sure you stay hydrated. Today is gearing up to be a real heat generating day.
Yes,
so just make sure to be very aware of the heat and of course to pay attention to the weather as usual. As I said, we are approaching the peak of the hurricane season, so that is always something to keep in mind and to make sure that you look out for. I want to say a special good morning to our pharmacists. Jacinta, I know that this week is a big week for pharmacists, not just in Dominica, but regionally. And there is something big going on that we will talk about. So I want to say a special good morning this morning to all pharmacists. And if Health Vibes is on the airwaves at Jolly's pharmacies across Dominica, Mega, King George V Street, Great George Street in Portsmouth. If the program is on, good morning to you guys out there at the Jolly's pharmacy branches that we have across Dominica. Jacinta, so what are we gearing up for this week? What is going on this week? If you're looking at us live, and good morning as well to our viewers who are joining us on the Facebook page of Q95 FM Radio and the YouTube channel. If you're joining us live, you can see that Jacinta is very bright this morning and she's dancing. So it must be that she is excited and and it must be that something big is going on. Once you get Jacinta dancing, that means excitement is in the air. Jacinta, what's going on for you pharmacists this week?
Okay, so this week
Mhm.
is our pharmacist conference week.
Okay.
And as you rightfully said, it is not just for locals.
Mhm.
So we have delegates from all around the Caribbean.
Mhm.
And this week we are having many activities, not just celebrating us pharmacists, but also sessions that we partake in to continuously grow and learn, and in different areas, different areas of focus, I should say. And yesterday we had a public session at Pastor Randy's
Truth and Grace Fellowship
Right.
Global, yes. I
Very
saw that
true.
live.
Right.
Mhm.
And the focus was on mental health
Mhm.
with the theme Mind Your Mind. There is no health without mental health. And we had four professionals on board, the panelists,
Mhm.
and the public was welcomed, and they were having such a wonderful discussion
Mhm.
with different areas. So, for example, Dr. John, who is a dentist, but also very closely linked with the youth and young men.
Mhm.
And so he focused on what he has been seeing, and also advising the young men,
Mhm.
that it is okay to share your emotions, say what you think and feel.
Mhm.
And so the different expertise across the board, they shared their own experience and also gave advice. And of course, the public, from what I gathered, were very thankful and grateful for that discussion. Today, started off the different continuous education sessions for us pharmacists. But let me just say that this year's theme is Pharmacy 2025 and Beyond, transforming healthcare through innovation, accountability, and research. And
Oh.
of course, Jolly's Pharmacy is one of the biggest sponsors
Mhm.
for this conference. So for the various days following up, we will be having different delegates, so local representatives and abroad, who will be speaking on different areas. So
Okay.
besides that, I mean, we have a little free up time, so it's not just all work and
Not
no
all
play.
work for the pharmacists. Okay, so the pharmacists will get to socialize as well.
Exactly. And
Okay.
we had a bus tour on Monday, and
Mhm.
so all pharmacists on island right now who have registered will have the privilege of either viewing the conference online or attending in person. So
Okay.
this is actually very big, because
Mhm.
each year it is held in different countries. So
Mhm.
Dominica, the Nature Isle, we are so blessed and honored to host this year's conference.
So that's the Caribbean Association of Pharmacists, CAP,
Yes.
and the annual conference being held in Dominica
That is it.
this year. I understand the delegates are mainly staying at Fort Young
At
Hotel.
Fortune Hotel, so big up to you, Fortune.
Yes, and that the conference itself will be at the State House
That's correct.
conference room.
Right.
But as Jacinta said, a variety of activities
Yes.
also embedded in the program for this week.
Of
So
course.
I look forward to seeing the pharmacists. I can imagine it's quite a big group. How many people are supposed to be coming on island?
More than 60 for sure.
More than 60. Okay, so
For
that
sure, yes.
so that should be a pretty big group.
Yes.
And the theme, Jacinta, transforming healthcare through innovation, accountability, and research. I think that is so relevant,
All right.
particularly the innovation part. Of course, we
course.
in the information super driven era where everything is so technologically advanced that driving transformation through innovation, I think, is critical, and we're talking that through healthcare.
Of
So
course.
I feel like this is a very well thought out theme, and that the conference is, it's set to actually generate some good discussion and good outcomes.
Definitely. And I must say, a lot of work
Went into it,
the
yeah.
planning of this conference. And I mean, it wasn't
Uh-huh.
just Jolly's Pharmacy, other pharmacies around the country as well also took part in the planning and sponsoring process. And
Mhm.
so we are grateful for all who came on board to make this. But I'm already claiming it's a successful conference.
Yes, you need to
Yes.
claim that in advance.
Yes,
Correct.
definitely.
Correct. I believe the welcoming or opening ceremony is this evening.
You're right.
Yes,
Also
so
sponsored by Joyce
yes, so
Pharmacy.
people will be officially welcome to this CAP conference and welcome to the Nature Isle. So, Jacinta, I really wish that everything goes well,
I
and
pray
I'm
so.
sure next week on the program, well, Leona should be on with me next week.
Yes.
Leona will maybe give an update of how things
That's
went.
it. And thank you to all our sponsors. We'll have a long list. Leona will give out
Yes,
next week.
Leona will big up the sponsors
Yes.
next week. So, for all our listeners, our viewers as well, we're talking the Caribbean Association of Pharmacists, CAP, their annual conference taking place in Dominica this year. And of course, Jolly's Pharmacy, a big partner and sponsor of the conference. And the pharmacists are setting themselves up for a very productive week.
That's correct.
That is what I would say. So, good luck to all who are involved. Just in I see we have some of our online viewers popping up and saying good morning. Let me just shout out Hazel and Anthony, who always listens to the program. Happy to have you on, and our other viewers who are popping on. A lot going on at Jolly's as usual, and we always want to start off the program with letting you know what's good at Jolly's Pharmacy. There's always a lot for people who are gearing up for back to school. I know parents have been shopping, parents have been trying to get their books, their stationery, and so on in place for the students. School resumes, well, at most levels in the second week of September, somewhere around September 8th. For the Dominica State College, September 1st is what we're looking at. But there is a back to school promotion at Jolly's Pharmacy. If you purchase stationery at Jolly's worth $50 or more, you get a chance to win something very big. There are gift vouchers up for grabs. There is a PS5 up for grabs. So the students, the young people I know into their gaming, PS5 is up for grabs. $200 gift voucher, $150 gift voucher. And all you have to do is buy $50 worth of stationery, $50 or more. At Jolly's Pharmacy, you get to put your name and your details at the back of your receipt and drop it in the raffle box. And the draw will be held after September 1st. And you will find out if you've won yourself a gift voucher or that PS5. So make sure when you're shopping stationery that you do that at Jolly's because you're getting a chance to win. So as you plan for back to school, and make sure parents that you're budgeting for back to school. I as someone at the helm of an educational institution, I know parents always say that getting students ready for school or getting students in school is an expensive process. So make sure you allocate those funds adequately for that. I know some sacrifices may have to be made. It may be the time where instead of doing certain purchases, you say, boy, I cannot do that. I need to buy the children's school things. That is priority. So I just encourage parents to do that because, of course, education is important. So the back to school promotion of Jolly's Pharmacy, make sure you get on that. If you're buying stationery, if you have young children going to school, that's your opportunity to get a win in. So if you're lucky, just invite notice a lot of lucky people in Dominica these days. I see lottery winnings are all over the place. So it might be luck season.
I don't know if there's a magic potion. I need to get some of it.
It might be luck season, so you can possibly be lucky at Jolly's Pharmacy with the back to school promotion. Of course, it ends on September 1st. And then there is another promotion for the people, particularly people with people who do food sales, our food providers. There is Prim Prom Fries, which is a very nice brand of fries. There is a promotion around that at Jolly's as well. So the Prim Prom Fries promotion, you get to try out the fries. There's sampling happening on Friday at Mega. So Friday at Mega, if you want to sample Prim Prom Fries, that is where you need to be. And at the wholesale, Jolly's wholesale on August 29th. So that's next week, Friday. So the promotion is you get up, take a picture with the fries, enjoying your fries. You hashtag Prim Pom Crunch and Win. Prim Pom Crunch and Win. That's a tongue twister. You put that up on Facebook with that hashtag, and the person who has the picture with the most likes gets to win an air fryer. So all
That's a
you
big thing right now.
yes, all you cooks, if you want to enhance your kitchen offering, what you can do in your kitchen, you want an air fryer, take part in the Prim Pom Fries promotion. The photo with the most likes wins. That promotion also ends on September 1st. So both the back to school and the Prim Pom Fries promotion end on September 1st. So you need to get yourself into a Jolly's location, and you need to get yourself involved in a promotion, because it's a lucky season and you may be lucky. I haven't been lucky yet. Just in fact,
I'm still praying about it.
I can tell you, for the last big Super 6, I took a chance. I don't normally do lottery, but I took a chance. I said, boy, it might be my turn. You know what I mean? And here we had it. Somebody won from Dominica, and it was not me. So,
So did I.
So it's a lucky season for a lot of people, but just not for me yet. But
Yet.
our listeners, yes, it might be for our listeners. So take part in these promotions. You might be lucky. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we do have a very interesting lineup for you this morning, just like they talk about on, the Curl Festival lineup on Health Vibes. We have a nice little lineup this morning. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your hosts, Trudy Kristen, and co-hosts pharmacists Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website, www.jollies.gm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollies.gm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollies.gm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. Visit us at www.jollies.gm. Jollies Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Oh, convenience make a big difference, then you can trust me. I know just where you should be. That is JP Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga. You could be shopping and having fun. Shop with your daughter, with your son. Shop later to everyone. What a happy place. Oh, JP Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga. You could be shopping and having fun. Shop later to everyone. What a happy place. Oh, what a happy place. But just stick some more any item and you automatically qualify for discounts. Check us out at the Mega Store in Fongolle, where there's lots of parking on Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. JP Mega, the best family shopping experience. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes.
Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your hosts Trudy Kristen and co-hosts pharmacists Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor, and not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
And we are back with you. Of course, you're tuned in to your favorite health talk show, Health Vibes, Jolly's Health Vibes. And as I said before the break, this morning we have a very interesting lineup for you. Of course, many of you, and I hope all of you who are listening, have had the opportunity to go to Jolly's Pharmacy. And Jolly's Pharmacy is a very, very, very well equipped, well functioning pharmacy, many different branches. I think everybody in Dominica has had the opportunity to go to Jolly's Pharmacy at some point. But although you've been there, what you may not know is some of the things that the pharmacy is able to do for you. So today's show is about letting you know all these specialty services that Jolly's Pharmacy has for you, for our customers, that you maybe never even knew about and that you maybe even have not used, but you could use. So it's what you didn't know about Jolly's Pharmacy and that you need to know, what you didn't know and that you need to know. So if you are listening, you've been to Jolly's or you're a regular customer, you might know some, but I'm sure there'll be something that we'll discuss this morning that you have not known that Jolly's can do for you. And so what you did not know that you need to know about Jolly's Pharmacy. Jacinta, I am a regular customer of Jolly's Pharmacy.
Nice.
I have said before on other shows that I like going to Mega. So the Fokole branch, Jolly's Mega, JP Mega down there in Fokole, that is my favorite branch, not because I don't like the staff or the pharmacists in other branches, but simply because of the parking.
Right, the convenience.
Yes. So as a driver, I tend to often have to avoid Roseau because it's difficult to park in Roseau. And Mega has a nice parking lot. And so I can conveniently get in and out of Mega and get everything that I need to get. So, Jacinta, one of the things that I wanted to highlight that I didn't even know I could do until recently is have a prescription that was given to me by my doctor virtually, so via sent through WhatsApp or sent through email, or the doctor took a picture of the prescription and sent that to me, particularly if it's an emergency type of situation. And I did not know that I could have that prescription emailed into the pharmacy and get it filled and just come in and the prescription is there in the email and the pharmacist will facilitate my prescription. So I did not know that it was that simple to get prescription medication through a virtually administered prescription. That I did not know.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now you know.
Now I know.
So we've had this service for quite some time.
Wow. Mhm.
And it is very convenient, like you said, if patients are unable to go to a doctor's office
Mhm.
or if they have some online consultation with their physician,
Right.
the doctor can easily just write the writing pad with them.
Uh-huh.
They can easily just write up their prescription and send it directly to the patient.
Okay.
Even patients at the hospital who are unable to leave,
Mhm.
they will send a picture to their family member or loved one, and they come in and they just send it online. However, I must caution the listening audience
Mhm.
that when taking out pictures of prescriptions, so let's go with a regular prescription paper,
Mhm.
ensure that the full picture is taken, primarily because the doctor's signature needs to be clear.
Uh-huh.
The duration which means how long the doctor wants the prescription to be filled, needs to be seen,
Mhm.
and also the date that the prescription was written.
Mhm.
Okay, I mean the patient's name is also very important as well, but these are key factors of a prescription that are needed. So imagine you taking out a picture for an antibiotic,
Mhm.
and because the prescription was the picture was taken very badly, we are not able to see how long you're supposed to be on the antibiotic for,
Ah,
which means you have to, if you are able to contact the person, they can send in another picture, or unfortunately, if you are unable to get in touch with the person, we may have to try to see if we can get the doctor, and sometimes the information is very limited. So
Mhm.
ensure that when taking out a picture, it's very clear first and foremost, that the doctor's signature at the bottom is clear, the duration, that's to the right hand side, and the date of the prescription is clear.
Mhm.
Furthermore, not all prescriptions sent via email would be able to be dispensed.
Ah.
So, depending on the type of medication, so for example, controlled drugs.
Mhm.
So, many people will be familiar with Valium or diazepam, that's the other name for it,
Mhm.
or lorazepam, or tramadol, or morphine. Those are high grade.
Those painkillers.
Right,
Mhm.
opioids, right.
Mhm.
So depending on the type of medication, we
Mhm.
would require the physical copy. Now I know you say, but my doctor just sent it to me.
Mhm.
I didn't go into the office. We can be flexible depending on the situation, but what we may be able to do is probably give you a supply
Mhm.
and allow you to at least collect the physical to receive the balance. So we may not leave you empty handed again,
Okay.
based on the situation. I mean, we are warm hearted at Jolly's Pharmacy. So we are able to accommodate to the best of our abilities based on the situation.
Mhm.
And even with the email, it's not just for prescriptions.
Mhm.
So let's say you want an inquiry about a floor item or a medication item, preferably medication, you can simply just write to us and say, "Hi, I would like to know whether you have this medication and what is the price of it." And we
Ah.
can, we will reply to you as soon as we are able to. So
Okay.
this goes for doctors, patients abroad, whatever it may be.
Yeah, so that's particularly useful, as you're mentioning, for someone abroad, for
Right.
instance, maybe trying to source something for a family member locally and wants
That's
to
it.
know whether Jolly's Pharmacy carries that.
Mhm.
They can send in an email and they can get a response. What's the email, Jacinta?
Right. So it is pharmacy
Mm-hmm.
at jollysonline.com.
Okay.
So everything, I'm going to say it again. It's pharmacy at jollysonline.com. So
Mm-hmm.
everything is lowercase.
Mm-hmm.
There is no apostrophe mark.
Mm-hmm.
And right, so everything is together. So
Okay.
lowercase and no apostrophe for the Jollies.
So that's pharmacy at jollysonline.com. All right.
Right.
Okay.
And then when if you want to price a prescription, because what happens sometimes, patients call over the phone
Uh-huh.
to price a prescription.
Uh-huh.
We try to avoid this in most situations, just because the person really may not be able to understand the handwriting of
The doctor, yeah.
And we have had situations where the person called in and tried to give us what they think they saw,
Mhm.
and we gave the price based on what we were told. But when they came in,
Something
it was
different.
something different.
Mhm.
And sometimes they were not as understanding. So to avoid
Mhm.
all of this, we try to say, okay, so send a clear picture again
Mhm.
to the email address, and we will price it accurately for you.
Mhm. And that's important because, of course, pharmacists have this special training to read those handwritings, the handwriting of the physicians. So you, as the patient, might be trying to read it, and as Jacinta is saying, you might make a mistake in what you think
What
you're
you see,
seeing.
exactly.
But the pharmacist is better suited, better equipped, better trained to actually decipher that handwriting of your
Right.
doctor.
And
So that's very important.
and then sometimes the different drugs
Mhm.
names are very close.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So what you may interpret as let's see, metronidazole from albendazole or not, so it can easily be misread.
It's interesting how one letter changes the meaning
Yeah.
or changes an entire word.
That's correct.
When I in my teaching, students would often ask like, "Oh, spelling is important." I used to teach biology A and P, and I said, yeah, because the difference in one letter is totally changing the meaning of the
Exactly.
word.
Yeah.
So, if you're talking about iron, IRON, and if you're talking about ION, iron, you're talking about two different things, So the same applies in pharmacy. The
Right.
drugs, the spellings could be similar. And so the pharmacist needs to interpret that prescription accurately for you. So sending in a picture is the best bet. But it's very good that people can get prices ahead of time
Right.
if they require, so that they can come prepared, or they can send for the medication if it's available and be prepared with the price.
One last thing for the email before we move on
Mhm.
is if you do agree to taking a medication, indicate which branch is most convenient to pick up.
For you to pick up.
Imagine
Okay.
we have prepared a whole list of medications at Mega,
Mhm.
and the person comes in town and have to do the entire thing over.
Okay. And that being said, I do know that at Portsmouth, I saw announced that pickup in store is available for people shopping online now in Portsmouth. So I saw that this is now available. And that's another thing, Jacinta, that people maybe do not know. So we can go into that next aspect is the online facility, of Jolly's Pharmacy. So you can shop online, just like we like to shop on Amazon and we like to shop on Shein. You can shop on jollies.dm. Jollies.dm. Now, this one I did know. So you can shop at jollies.dm and you can order your stuff and pick it up in store. So I'm seeing now that this service is available in the Portsmouth branch, where you order online, you pay, and you'll be notified when your order is ready for pickup in the store. And I guess the same applies for the other branches. Yes. So jollies.dm, online shopping, and then the email address for sending in your prescriptions if you need to, or inquiring prices, pharmacy@jolliesonline.com. So for all you modern customers who like to do things virtually, we've given you two big things that Jollies does for you here: the online shopping facility, and of course your email option for your prescriptions. So Jacinta, what is another thing? And I'm going to tease you in this direction. A lot of us locally, a lot of people suffer from chronic diseases. Diabetes and hypertension are pretty prevalent. And what service do our diabetics and hypertensives maybe not know that Jollies can do for them? Let's target that group. People dealing with chronic diseases, for instance, diabetes, for example, diabetes and hypertension. What can Jollies do for you?
Okay, so first things first, with these types of conditions, we need to monitor your levels. So we do offer blood glucose testing and blood pressure testing. So you come in at a very small fee and let us know, you would like to test your sugar or pressure, and we allow you to have a seat for a few minutes while we you have your heart rate at a nice level before, because you cannot just come walking around Rose and expect us to test your pressure as soon as you walk in. So a few minutes of rest is required before we do so. What I would like to let our listeners know, or to just encourage them to exercise a little bit of patience, because many times when people come in, we are a little swamped.
Okay, so it might take a little
It may take
time.
a little time. Just bear with us.
Mhm.
A little reminder wouldn't hurt sometimes, especially if there is only one pharmacist at the moment.
Okay.
If a pharmacist either went home or is on lunch, so we have to divide ourselves a bit in doing that. But even so, our pharmacy technicians
Can do it
also-
as well.
Right.
Okay, so the pharmacist or the pharmacy technician can take the blood glucose or the blood pressure checks.
Right.
Right, okay.
Right. And then if needs be, we can also write down your readings. So the date, the time, your readings, and if you need to take it to your physician or your nurse, then we do so as well. We also guide your medication regimen.
Okay.
So if you've just been recently diagnosed, you're not familiar with your medication, we do take the time to go through it with you. And if you have any questions or queries, we answer them and let you know which ones can be taken together, when, how, do's, don'ts, the whole works of it.
Okay. All right. So blood glucose and blood pressure checks available at the pharmacy. And that's important because it's very interesting how often, or how, I shouldn't say how often, but how many times it may occur that you need a blood pressure reading or blood glucose reading for something, and you are trying to figure out where can you get that done easily. It has happened to me once. For instance, I went to do an eye exam, and before the eye exam, the doctor said that they need a blood pressure, the last your recent blood pressure reading, and blood glucose as well, and I was like, oh, I have the monitors at home for both, but I didn't know I had to check and bring that in for an eye exam. I didn't know. So I had to leave and go and get that checked and come back with the results before I could get the eye exam done. And so that is, just an example of a time where somebody might not even know that they need to get these two things checked, and they can do it at the pharmacy, if they're in town and they can, or if they're close to Mega, they can come in, or for the Portsmouth people in Portsmouth, and get that checked.
And even so, when you purchase a blood sugar monitor or blood pressure monitor, we set it up for you, and we instruct you and direct you as to how to use it.
Okay.
So we can do that. And even going further, if you have an existing kit at home and it's been showing error, it's not working properly, we can check it to the best of our ability to see whether it's the battery, whether it has to be reset, and we do all the works for you.
Okay, so that is also important. Just for the people like me who have big arms, do you have big cuffs for your blood pressure monitors at the pharmacy? That's an important question,
It
because
is.
cuff size is important
Yes,
for
it
blood
is.
pressure monitoring.
Yes.
So is there a variety of options for checking blood pressure at the pharmacy?
We do. So
Okay.
No, it's important. It's important. So we do.
Our producer is
and then-
laughing, but it's true.
I don't know why. But even when purchasing blood pressure monitors, it's also indicated on the package as well.
Okay.
But in house, yes, we do have
the extended cuff. Extended cuff. Okay, so that's good. So people, because you might be, you might have had the experience of you go to a provider and they don't have the adequate size cuff.
Yes, it's true.
For you. So Jolly's Pharmacy is equipped with those, so you can get your blood pressure checks done. And Jacinta said it's for a small fee. So you go in, you pay the small fee, you ask for it, you wait, you're patient, as she said, and then you can get that done by the pharmacist or the pharmacy technician. And if you want to have your home monitor, so and I think it's important these days, checking or monitoring these vital statistics is just something that people should get in the habit of doing. And so if you want to have your monitor at home, you can purchase one for your blood glucose at Jolly's, you can purchase for your blood pressure at Jolly's, and they'll set it up for you. So that is, I think, very convenient, that you can have it at home. And for people listening too, who may want to, and I always say this, but I'll say it again, sometimes you're thinking of a gift for a person. It might be a relative of yours, particularly, somebody who is maybe advanced in age, or somebody who is needing health checks. Buying them a home monitor for their blood pressure or their blood glucose is a very good gift.
Yes,
I
second that.
I mean, people want to do alcohol and things that will last for a short time, fruit basket. All that is nice. But I think something health related, like a blood glucose monitor, a blood pressure monitor that the person can have at their home, that's a very practical
Yes.
gift idea, and it's available at Jolly's for you. So don't say I never put you on to what is the most practical gift you can give your auntie, your grandmother, your father, your mother. These are some good gift ideas, honestly.
I think so too.
Honestly. Jacinta, what about, I mentioned a lot of people suffering with chronic diseases. I mentioned diabetes, I mentioned hypertension. Diabetes, people who are on insulin,
Right.
insulin dependent diabetics, or type 2 diabetics who have now become dependent on insulin instead of just oral medication for the control of their blood glucose. What is there available for these people at Jolly's Pharmacy that they maybe didn't know?
Yes, right.
Mhm.
So what you may already know, many people who are already on insulin, we do sell the needles,
Okay,
which-
yes, I know that.
which is needed, right?
Uh-huh.
But if you have been newly diagnosed,
Mhm.
or this is the first time you've been prescribed insulin and you have no idea as to what type of needles, because there are different gauges, there are different numbers available on the different types of needles,
Mhm.
and also how to administer.
How to prick,
How to prick.
how to prick,
Right. So we at the pharmacy are available to instruct you and guide you as to
Okay.
how to administer.
How to use your insulin. Okay.
Right. Because if you do not do so, it means that either you may be inserting bubbles into the vial. It
Mhm.
means you will not be able to pull up the required dose or the accurate dose. It means that you may not be injecting the area on the body that is most appropriate.
Mhm.
We'll be able to give you advice as to how to rotate the different sections on the body
Mhm.
for the injection, and what angle to place the needle.
Okay.
So all of this, not just to minimize pain as well, and sensitivity, and also how to measure the amount of insulin needed based on the needle.
Okay.
So with insulin, the doctor will prescribe the dose, either if it's once a day or twice a day, if you have different types of insulin to use. So all of this the needle type, the gauge would be dependent on the dose that the doctor has prescribed. So we
Okay.
can give you a nice run through as to how to administer, how to keep your environment sterile, what you need, and so
Okay. So if you're newly prescribed insulin, you've never, you're not using it, you have not used it before, and you need some guidance. Or from what Jacinta is saying, if you have been using it and you're not sure you're doing it correctly, because administering the insulin is important, that you do it correctly.
Right.
So if you maybe are new to the process, or you have been doing it but you have never received guidance, coming into the pharmacy to get that guidance is
You
something
can
you
do
should
that.
do. Yeah.
Because many people do feel a bit intimidated. We had a patient just last week who said he just stopped.
Just stop taking the
He just
insulin.
stopped taking
Wow.
insulin, and
Wow.
when we tested his sugar,
Mhm.
it was 220
Wow.
milligram per deciliter.
Wow.
So that is pretty high. And the worst thing he did was to stop and not inform his doctor.
Okay.
So at least he would have been able to raise concerns. And if the doctor felt that they could switch it to an alternative medication, he could have done so. But this is very dangerous to do. Let me just say this: to stop a medication regimen, especially something like insulin, without consulting your doctor. So let's say you're type 1 diabetic, where your body does not produce or produces very little insulin. This is where you become insulin dependent in administering on a daily basis. So imagine that you stop your insulin in that situation, that's very dangerous for you.
Mhm.
Very dangerous.
And people must be cautious about that. I do know sometimes based on yes, hesitation, inconvenience, or whatever it may be, people may just decide why not taking that.
Right.
But the pharmacists are there to guide you.
Mhm.
And so I would really encourage people, particularly for insulin. I know a lot of people too are scared of needles. So for any sort of administering of a drug that has to be done through needle insertion, I think getting that guidance from the pharmacist
Of
is
course.
critical, and the pharmacist will not tell you no, we're not doing that for you. So as we are saying, this is something that Jolly's Pharmacy offers, is that guidance on insulin use for the people who are using insulin or who have been prescribed insulin to control their blood sugar. So that is something because sometimes people might think, Justin Fan, this is why we're doing this. Somebody might think, oh, I would be troubling them to ask them that, or that is not what they're there for. They might see the pharmacist and say it's medication that they're dispensing behind at the dispensary, and that, they're not there to do that sort of one-on-one work with patients.
Right.
But we are letting you know here on this program that these are some of the services that are offered by Jolly's Pharmacy, by the pharmacist or
Right.
pharmacy technician for the checks, blood glucose and blood sugar,
Right.
blood
And
glucose and blood,
blood
pressure.
pressure. Right. So like we just mentioned, again, the timing is key.
Yes.
We will indicate, when a better time
Mhm.
is is needed.
Is better.
Is
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
because this particular situation will take time.
Will take some time. But I have noticed, Justin, and I mean, people can also be use some discernment. I have noticed there are up times and there are down times. So, for instance, if I go into Mega sometimes early on a Saturday morning,
Oh, that's a good time.
yes,
That's a
I
good time.
see it's fairly easy.
Yes.
If it gets later, then the crowd starts to pick
Yes.
up. I also went into Mega on a Sunday one. So when I went in, it was about it had just opened, so a little after 9.
Right.
And I was the only person there. I gave my information to the pharmacy technician, and I was on my way. And when I was leaving, there was a huge crowd coming in. There were several different people coming in. I guess it was maybe an after church sort of
Okay, yeah,
time.
that happens,
So
yes.
people had then started coming in, and so I had, by being early, I had missed that crowd. So if you come into the pharmacy and it's it's a slower time, then that might be a good time to get some of these
Yes, some more
services done.
one-on-one
Mhm,
time
mhm.
with you, yes.
Yes. Justin, first, something else that I want to I know it happens, but I don't know if people know, and I want to highlight it, is that pharmacists can do consultations with you on the medication that you have been prescribed, or just a general consultation. I have actually been so impressed by pharmacists that I have not asked for consultations and have actually pulled me aside for a brief consultation when I have gotten a new medication or something that they realized I would need some advice on. And so I did want to, and just if I mentioned that to you, I did want to especially congratulate, or I would say show some appreciation to Ryan Samuel, who is a pharmacist at Jolly's Pharmacy. I brought in a prescription and he filled the prescription, and he said to me, came from behind the dispensary, and he came to tell me, okay, this drug, normally when it interacts with this drug, you may experience this. And so this is something that you need to look out for or be very careful with, have careful monitoring with your doctor. And he wanted to just advise me that that is a possible outcome of a particular drug and drug interaction. And I really want to say that that is a nice specialty service that pharmacists can provide for customers.
Yes, we do this on a regular, especially when we realize, let's say, a dose has been changed, a medication has been discontinued, the frequency has been changed, or the regimen altogether has been changed. So it is our job to inform you.
Mhm.
Sometimes the physicians will let you know.
Mhm.
Other times, unfortunately, I don't know if it's based on lack of sufficient time, but it doesn't happen. So when you come in, and if you have a record with us, we can easily see that something has changed.
Mhm.
So we can notify you, here your doctor discontinued this medication, you are now on another one, and we can give a little more advice
Mhm.
on that particular on that medication. Sometimes based on the type of drug and the directions, it can be a little complicated. So for example, steroid eye drop prednisone.
Mhm.
But if even the tablets as well, but the eye drops, sometimes the doctors would indicate, okay, instill one eye drop every 2 hours for 3 days, then every 6 hours, and every 4 hours. And
So
so
it's changing.
right, so there's a breakdown. Although you will get the label
Mhm.
indicating the various instructions,
Mhm.
but we do like to take the extra time to go through it, because sometimes patients may not be able to read,
Mhm.
and even though to us the directions would seem very simple and clear,
Mhm.
to someone else it may still be or seem complicated.
Okay.
So even in these situations, we advise, if you have a big calendar,
Mhm.
to jot down on your calendar, okay, so from Monday to Wednesday is every 2 hours, and then from Thursday there's a change. So you indicate that, or use your phone, or whatever source of whatever means that you have.
Mhm.
So whenever there are medications with various breakdowns, we do take the time to go through it with you as
To
well.
go through it with the customer. Okay,
Yes.
that's very good. That is very good, because as I said, sometimes you just, that little extra advice or that consultation can really be a lifesaver for you,
Of course.
if you are using something that you're not accustomed to, or if you have not gotten that sort of dialogue with your physician.
Right.
And we do know that sometimes physicians are extremely busy. It has happened to me in the past, where a physician just prescribes something, no dialogue about why, how, when, where, and you are essentially on your own to interpret the directions. But if the pharmacist can speak to you and give you some guidance, then of course that can improve your general outcome.
And adherence, because sometimes, because a customer may not understand
Mhm.
the medication or how to take it, they may feel frustrated and don't see the need
To take it,
But when
yeah,
you
correct.
understand the importance and how to take it correctly, it increases the adherence.
Mhm.
So
Definitely. Just in fact, there is something else. There's another situation I wanted to ask you about. What if somebody needs a particular medication, or a particular medication is prescribed, and they come in to Jolly's and that medication is not available for them? What services or options do you all offer in that instance? I have a specialty well, and it has happened to me actually. Once upon a time, a dermatologist prescribed something very rare, it seems, for me, for a skin condition, and it was not available, not at Jolly's and not anywhere else. So what is available for that type of situation?
okay, so if you come into us with a prescription medication which we don't have at the time, we can do one of three things. So first, we can cross check to see if we've ever had it.
Okay.
So we may not have it in stock at the moment, but we may have a record of it.
Okay.
So I know, well, prices of medications change very often, but we can at least say, okay, so we've had it before. We can tell you what the price was at the time. Price may vary, but we can at least let you know. The second option, because if we have to order it, it may take a little time, although we can fast track it. But we can say, okay, try to see whether you can get it anywhere locally first. I mean, it depending on the urgency of the medication as well. We give you that option. We're not selfish to say, oh, it must be bought. And just depending on what's going on. If you really cannot, and again, if we have an alternative that will do the same job or just as effective, we can have a conversation with the doctor.
Okay.
So if you have a number, or we have a record of the contact number. We call the doctor. We say, "Hey, doc, we do not have this in stock. This is what is available." Or if the doctor is adamant that they really want this particular medication, then we'll see if we can source it for you.
Okay.
So we take your information, we take a copy of the prescription, and the purchasing department works on trying to source the medication.
Okay.
When they've done so, if they are successful at this task, we call back the patient and say, "Okay, we found the medication. This is the price.
Mhm.
Are you interested?"
Mhm.
If you are interested, we would require a certain amount to be
A
deposited
deposit.
first
Mhm.
before ordering it.
Okay.
Again, if it is something that is needed urgently, we can expedite the process, which may cost a little more, you know. But generally, if we are to special order, we take between 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on where it is also coming from, what is
Okay.
going on between that leg from the source to here, because different things can delay shipment or so forth. So, but we try to be as thorough and communicate quite efficiently with our patients. So those are the options. So depending on the situation, you will have an option to see whether they can get it anywhere else locally. If not, we can seek the doctor's advice, and then we can order as well.
Okay. So some interesting things are coming up here. One, that you are able to order medications for people, and of course they can choose to purchase based on the price, and they put a deposit down.
Medical supplies as well.
Medical supplies as well. So not just drugs, but also supplies.
Right.
Okay, so people don't need to feel disheartened if it's not immediately available. It can be ordered specifically for them. Right. And another important thing you brought up that I don't think everybody knows that you all would do is to reach out to a physician. So that consultation with the physician to discuss options.
Right.
Because oftentimes the physician maybe can prescribe something different if they are aware that you don't have that particular thing. It depends on what it is.
And even so, we've had instances where we are not able to find a particular type or source, a particular type of medication or dose. And again, this is where the communication with the physician comes in.
Okay.
You know, "Hey, doc, we are not able to get this particular drug or strength, or depending on the instructions, would you like us to source a different type or form or..."
Right. And I think that is important because a patient might feel a little a little funny about if the medication is not there. Like if it's not there, they might feel like, boy, I have to go back to the doctor or I have to pay for another doctor's visit to get something else. But right there at the pharmacy, the pharmacist is able to reach out to the doctor and get, have that discussion, and if there's an alternative, have it called in. So you don't have to be in a panic like, oh my God. Sometimes if the patient maybe waited for a long time to get that particular appointment with that particular doctor and paid, their $120 for the visit, and then they got a prescription, it's not available, and they say to themselves, "Boy, I have to go back. I have to try to get another appointment and go back by that doctor and wait another long time." But no, at Jolly's, the pharmacist is able to reach out to the doctor and get an alternative for you if that is the case. So I think that's very, very customer friendly and very important. So it kind of allays the fear that somebody might have that they would have to return to the doctor.
But even so, the doctors as well directly call us if they want to special order medications or equipment, whatever it may be. So we have that rapport.
You have that rapport with the doctor, and that is why it's good to go to a nice established pharmacy like Jolly's Pharmacy. So the connections, the networking has already been made, and so you, the customer, can benefit benefit from that. Let me just open up the lines here this morning. We have been talking this morning, Jacinta and I, about what you did not know that Jollies could do for you that you need to know. And we've been highlighting some specialty services that the pharmacy can provide to you, the customer, you, the patient, as the need may arise. Our numbers here are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, and 616-4257. If you're trying to reach us from the overseas jurisdiction, you want to call from overseas, the number is 305-432-9624. So those are our numbers. If you have a question, Jacinta, the pharmacist, is in the house, and she's been letting us know all of these things that you can do at Jolly's Pharmacy that you maybe didn't know you could do, but it's important that you know, so that you could benefit from those services if the need arises. Jacinta, something that I am interested in. These days, we're seeing an upsurge in sort of people getting things, food and other things delivered. It's a big there's a big market now for delivery services. I am seeing people popping up with businesses doing errands, doing deliveries. What is that something that can happen from the Jollies end? If I purchase something, I order something maybe on jollies.dm, or I need some medication and I cannot get into the pharmacy, is there a delivery option?
Yes,
Okay.
we do have this available, again at a small fee.
Okay, at a small fee, there's a delivery fee. Okay.
But yes, we do offer this service, because imagine you have an elderly, you have a disabled person who does not live next to any one of our branches, and they do not have anyone that they could send to pick up. We would have to deliver to them.
Okay.
So information is key. So we would need a working cell phone number and the proper directions. And of course, delivery would also go hand in hand with the schedule of our drivers, because remember, we do deliveries to different companies, and going from store to store, right to Portsmouth and back, and around the islands basically. So the wholesale department would have to be synced into whatever other deliveries that are needed. And I must big up that department, Colleen, supervisor. She played a very vital role in delivering some of the packages or goods from the various companies. Again, we will say a big thank you next week to them, but in making that process of delivery to Fortune Hotel and so forth a possibility.
Okay.
But going back to items bought or ordered online, we do that as well.
Okay, so but what frequency? You said, well, it depends on the schedule of the drivers,
Right.
but is it possible for somebody to order something or have a medication need today and possibly get it today?
Of course.
Okay,
yes,
so
fine.
it's so 1 day delivery is possible, and I would assume, Jacinta, maybe there are emergency situations where somebody needs medication or needs some sort of medical supply
Right.
urgently for some emergency situation, and that can be facilitated through delivery.
Again, to the best of our abilities, once we are able to do so, we will do so. What I will also urge our listening audience, because I'm sure many of them listening will say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to leave my desk and go in."
Oh, they're going to just get everything ordered, everything delivered.
Yes. What I would say is that there is the benefit of when you are in person to have a look at your packages.
Okay.
Because while it is very convenient to sit at your home or your desk or wherever you are and have your packages delivered, if it is not something that you or the correct item or so, then that could pose a problem.
Okay.
We try our best to be as efficient as possible, but at least you have that advantage when you're in store
Okay.
to just look over one more time.
Your purchase. Okay, I see we have a caller. Let's take this
Hello.
call. Caller, good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning, Jolly.
Good
Hi, good
evening.
morning.
First of all, I must say thank you to Jolly for the education you're giving us.
Thank
I must
you.
also
Thank
say,
you.
I must also say thank you for the post-mortem section you have put up,
Mm-hmm.
and for also thank you for the management, the chap in charge. I was speaking to him and he gives me some good ideas. So in charge, I think you told them, but there's one that is there all the time is more. Yeah, there's one pastor, but they're very good.
Oh,
In
Mr.
Portsmouth?
Edgar John Baptist.
I think so. I'm not sure his name, but you know,
Yes, Mr. Edgar John Baptist.
And normally, it's a very good thing you'll do.
Yes.
I have two questions. I have the question: do you have a time? If you have, let us say, you're supposed to take a medicine for, you normally take it at 8 o'clock, but then that's like insulin. But then you didn't take it next day. The next day you take it at 10 o'clock. But if it does have, does it so effective? That's one question. And the other question is, I have noticed sometimes over the counter, two sides of the story. Over the counter, you have like melatonin, tonin or something there. No, it's a sleeping thing. But then when you Google it, for some reason when I Google it, I see people's diabetes and so on. It's very bad for them.
Mm.
And also you have things like I don't know what you call chocolate of like I don't know CHLOPDIDOARL. Also they said you have to be very careful in taking it. You got to get too often. You got to get too often. So you could have some after effects. What I'm saying is, don't you all enter like sometimes you see something and say do not use grip and grip it. And therefore nobody explains to us and you use it. And the elderly especially. Could there be a situation where you enter somewhere on your whatever it is and tell them no good food, so do not take this, do not take that. So because the pharmacy doesn't know really sometimes. He knows when the doctor recommends the next thing, you just stick it in it. But it's going to get worse. So I think this is one of the things I think you have to look at seriously. The after effects of some of the medicines that may take, you may have to take, and also ensure that they have the right thing in place. Thank you for again, Jolly. Thank you for the education. Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
caller.
thank you very
Thank you,
much.
caller. Two interesting questions from what I deciphered from what he said. The first one, as it relates to the medication, the timing of taking your medication. If you possibly missed the dose or take the next dose later than you took it the previous day, what impact that could have. That was his first one. So I will let you answer that one.
The first one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so most times when we give a time frame for medication and we advise to take it around the same time every day, is so that a certain level is maintained in the blood throughout that time, that the time frame that you're supposed to take the medication. And so if let's say today you took it at 8 o'clock, same for the previous day, and tomorrow you forgot at 8 o'clock and you take it at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, there is a slight difference, but not so large of a difference that it's going to affect you or that it will not work the same way. So a lot of times we try to give specific times, especially if someone is on more than one type of medication, just so that it is spread out more evenly, to reduce interactions, number one, or gastric problems or nausea. So but the main thing to do is making sure that you take your medication on a daily basis as much as possible, yes, around the time that has been given to you. But if you took it 2 hours after, that should not really pose
A serious
issue.
Okay.
For birth control, I will say that it just came to mind. Ladies, when taking birth control, ensure that you try to take it around the same time, and primarily for the same reason, to allow the concentration to be at the same level every day while you're taking it. Okay, and then there are guidelines that if you miss a dose, or if you took it too late and so forth, but there's more to be said about that, but that's not the focus right now. The second question is in regards to certain precautionary notes.
Yes, precautionary notes. And he was specifically asking, I believe, for over the counter things that people may buy that may have
Right.
some sort of negative impact on them because they are taking something for their diabetes or their hypertension or whatever it may be, and they're buying over the counter stuff. If there shouldn't be some sort of indication for these patients that they should avoid this or avoid that, because their information is in the system as to what prescription medication they're taking as well. I believe that's the gist of what I got.
I got that too. Well, I can target this question from so many angles. So many of the over-the-counter options, you really do not need a prescription for it. So if someone comes in and just picks up an item on the floor, either one of two things. They could come to us
and ask
in the pharmacy and inform us, hey, we're suffering from this condition, or if we have a record with us with your medications, or you're already taking some other supplements, we can do the research for you because we know the credible sources to turn to. So we can let you know, hey, you should not take this item or not. Sometimes on the bottles or packages do have indications for certain ailments, let's say pregnancy, breastfeeding, age range, other conditions where it is not advisable, and they still do indicate, seek consultation with your physician or pharmacist for the clarification. So some packages do give warning signs or areas of concern, but again, it is also the patient's responsibility to inform us of certain things.
Right.
However, if the physician has prescribed certain supplements, then we can do it right there and then, dispensing your other medication. For regular medications as well, we do have what you call the auxiliary labels that will indicate, and you mentioned about the grapefruit,
yeah.
right? So we do have those little yellow stickers or whatever color, can come in different colors, that will indicate either avoid alcohol, avoid grapefruit, or avoid taking into antacids on an empty stomach. So we do have those little stickers as well. So again, if you do need further consultation, that's not a problem.
Yeah, I think the highlight is for what the caller was saying is that same consultation service that we indicated is available. Because if you're going to pick up something from the shelf and you do have pre-existing conditions, and you are just cautious, you're unsure about what impact that this thing that you're picking up will have on your other conditions and on the other medication that you may be taking, it's just wait to have a brief consultation with the pharmacist who is at hand before you purchase. I think that's the best way, and you mentioned it, Jacinta, to kind of avoid any sort of negative counteractions that or interactions that could happen. Like, for instance, for me, recently, like over the weekend, that's how recently it was, I had this long lasting headache for multiple days, and I'm popping ibuprofen. Like, ibuprofen is my ibuprofen is my painkiller of choice, and I take very strong dosages of ibuprofen, I must admit, and I'm popping ibuprofen. And it's only afterwards, like after I had taken multiple ibuprofen pills, that ibuprofen raises blood pressure. So when I monitored my blood pressure, it was sky high. I said, oh. So this is something, if I had gone in and bought ibuprofen, because ibuprofen, of course, is over the counter, it's an over the counter pain medication. Right. If I had a discussion with a pharmacist and said, I do have high blood pressure, so maybe I would have gotten some guidance instead of me just popping ibuprofen. I was very much, the headache was not subsiding, right, and I was using the ibuprofen. So these are some of the things I think that we could, just have consultations on.
And then what's interesting is sometimes your headache may be related
To the
to the
to the blood
high
pressure, right? Exactly.
So
Which is why I know I had to get it. I had to get it down. So
right,
that
yes.
is how that that ended up happening. So it's like the caller was saying, there may be things that you want to take the over the counter, but it can have some sort of negative impact on you based on some condition that you have. You need to just have that consultation. I think that is very important, very very important. So I appreciate that caller's question. Just if I think one of the last things I wanted to bring up is as it relates to payments at Jolly's Pharmacy, because we were going through services that people maybe did not know that they could get at Jolly's. Payment and insurance.
Right.
I am understanding that there is a particular service that I was not aware of before we started discussing for this show that relates to the use of your insurance that you have, health insurance, and payment for your medications. What is that service?
Okay, so let me just start off by saying
Mhm.
that some insurance companies do offer their clients with cards
Mhm.
that can either be swiped through
Mhm.
machines that they would have to install
Mhm.
at whatever locations, or the alternative is the big receipts or even the smaller ones, depending if it's a new prescription
Mhm.
or a refill prescription that they bring back to their insurance company
Mhm.
so that they can be compensated.
Mhm.
But for quite some time now, we do have the machines for surgical
Okay. Okay.
clients.
Okay.
And recently, CG United, although this is
That are over-
fairly new,
Okay.
and we're still, getting our hands a little wet in
Okay.
that regard.
Okay.
But for the surgical insurance customers,
Mhm.
they present the cards. And another thing of note is if you do have a card, give it to the either pharmacist or technician who receives you,
Mhm.
because the machine is right there, so we can process it. Because if you leave it till you reach the cashier has to bring back the card to us, and you have to wait again.
Okay. So you
we
can
do the
process it at the
one time.
pharmacy, at the dispensary area.
Right.
Okay.
And then I'm speaking more of surgical because we have the bulk of knowledge mostly with them. And if you have not reached your deductible amount, so depending on what plan you have,
Mm-hmm.
you have to reach a certain amount first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will see a deduction in your costs.
Mm-hmm.
But even with them, if you do not have the card with you, that's why the receipts, not the cashier's receipt,
Mm-hmm.
the other paper that accompanies your medication.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have those, which has your name, the doctor's name, the medication, and all the information needed, you could bring it back to them. So those services are offered at Jolly's Pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to speak with your insurance company to see how else you can be compensated, what you need from us.
Mhm.
So we are very flexible. So whatever the insurance company requires from us, we would provide. We've had insurance representatives call us on the phone, asking if it's a compound that we have mixed, what is the content of it,
Mhm.
and we get that information. So it's a very flexible service process.
Okay. So, and of course, we always encourage people to get health insurance coverage
Yes.
as you manage your expenses related to your health and you secure your future health-wise. Health insurance is a very good idea, and so Jolly's is making it easier you to utilize what your health insurance coverage that you have. And as Jacinta mentioned, they are already aligned with Sagicor, so processing of those payments is easy. And I guess as time passes, the other companies
Of course.
will come on board, and it will become a full process. So just encouraging for health insurance once again. Now Jolly's has a lot of other services that we could have highlighted. However, it is 11:34 a.m. and it is our time to go. But I just encourage all our listeners, of course, if you are inquisitive about something and you want to know whether Jolly's offers that or not, when you go in to any of our branches, just ask a question.
Yes.
You may be surprised that what you are inquiring about is provided and you can get that service done for you. So make sure to speak to the staff and ask the staff at Jolly's. And I have been to all branches, and I must say that the staff is exceptional when it comes to customer service and when it comes to serving and facilitating customers' needs. So don't be afraid to reach out to a staff member at Jolly's Pharmacy and ask a question. I find that I have always gotten exceptional service.
We cherish you.
Yes. So kudos to the Jolly's team. And we are signing out here from Jolly's Health Vibes. It's been another wonderful Wednesday morning. I do wish all you listeners a very good week, and do make sure to join us again next week, Wednesday, for another episode of your favorite health talk show, Health Vibes, right here on Q95 FM. We're signing out. Goodbye.
Take care.
Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10